So briefly, we talked the other day about how if you have a vertical or a horizontal line, if we look at a table for this graph right here, you can see that no matter what x is, if x is -4, y is 3. If x is -1, y is still 3. If x is +2, y is still 3. If x is 1,000,000, y is still 3. So y is 3 every single time. And if that is the case, then you're going to end up with an equation that looks like this. But let's think about this for just a moment. If we pick those 2 points and we use the slope formula, the difference of the y's, 3 minus 3, you're going to have 0 in the denominator, no matter what 2 points you pick. And then if you subtract the x's, the difference of the x's, 2 minus a -1, which that becomes plus over 3, you're still going to have a 0 slope. So my slope's going to be 0. My y-intercept, right there at +3. And if I have 0 times x, and I simplify that, any number times 0 is just 0. So y is always equal to 3 if you have a horizontal line. Now, let's talk about vertical lines. These are a little bit harder. So let's look at the table first. Forgot to erase my stuff. Okay. So in this one, x is always 5. If I look at any point on this graph, 5, 0, this point is 5 on the x, 3 on the y, 5, -3 on the y, 5, 100 even. So every time it's x. Now, we already looked at slope being undefined. That would be something over 0, which we know can't happen. And it's never going to cross the y-axis, so it will never have a y-intercept. This line will not. So in that case, we have to say x is equal to 5. Now, if you grab your foldable, let's talk about what HOY VUX means. And I have a little picture here of King Julian because he always says "Oy vey, everyone," and it reminds me of HOY VUX. HOY stands for horizontal with 0 slope, y equals. So if you see a horizontal line, that means it has 0 slope, and the equation is going to be y equals whatever the y-intercept is. Then VUX stands for a vertical line that has undefined slope, and the equation is going to be x equal to whatever the x-intercept is. So you're going to fill that in. And on the back, we're going to add an example for y and x. So here we have y is equal to 5. It doesn't matter what x is. It can be -1,000,000. Y is always going to be 5. And then if we have x equals -5, that means every x possible is going to be -5, no matter what the y would be. Now, if we open it to the inside, we're going to look at some sample graphs here. I want you to take a few minutes and graph these. You can pause the video. And now make sure that you have the correct graphs. You will notice that we're counting by 2s on the scale. So not every line is going to be on a grid line. In fact, the first one is between the first 2 grid lines because we are counting by 2s. So I hope you caught that. Make sure that you have all of your lines drawn correctly. And now we're going to talk about Despace. So you're going to be creating a picture today in Desmos, and we're going to be doing pictures quite a bit this year. You're going to go to student.desmos.com. The code is 3J5MVB. You're going to make your face unique and interesting. So this is just a basic face. You don't have to do the eyes like this. You don't have to do the mouth like this. You can add other interesting characteristics. You can add accessories, hair, bow ties, hats, earrings, a nose, whatever you want. Okay, don't just do the minimum. I want to be wowed by this. So when you go to Des face, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that you will need to see.